You're listening to Community Voice PHL, an award-winning talk show that informs, engages, and inspires.
Hey, this is Jeff Jones, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Community Voice PHL Talk Show on WPPM LP Philadelphia. Community Voice is a talk show that highlights the value-based programs and services that people are doing all across the tri-state area and even across the nation. We'll bring you informing information with inspiring individuals who will get you involved with building caring and prosperous communities. So thanks again for listening to Community Voice PHL, a show that informs, engages, and inspires. We are happy as always to be on the airways and on the YouTube channels with you to be able to share this information. And I'm excited. Of course, this is the last show of the year. We're beginning to wrap up this year. We've had another successful year with a lot of great guests on the show, a lot of great information that being shared. If you're following us for the first time, thank you. Tuning in for the first time, thank you. If you want to get with us on social media, our main platform that we land on is Instagram, which is Community Voice PHL. And also, we have a YouTube channel, Community Voice PHL Talk Show, and we have an Apple Podcast, Community Voice PHL Talk Show as well. So it's all consistent across the board. So please subscribe and follow us on those platforms to continue to get the inspiring information for people who are doing just some great work across the tri-state area and again across the nation as well. We've had the fortunate opportunity to be able to feature guests that are all across the nation here. So we're excited about that. So please follow us and support us in that endeavor. And if you know of anyone who would like to be a guest on the show, if you're interested in being a guest on the show, send an email to communityvoicephl@gmail.com, and we'll be able to, get that opportunity to have you featured as a guest and learn more about the great work that you're doing. And also, if you want to send feedback, use that same email, communityvoicephl@gmail.com. Send us feedback if you look at some of our other episodes or have some comments or thought about this particular episode. Please send us an email. We like to respond to those emails, and we have segments when we feature some of those emails on the show. So please continue to reach out to us. This show, again, like I said, is our last show of the year, but we also want to just acknowledge the fact that we have some things that are happening throughout this year as well, and I want to share that with you. We have some exciting things taking place right here in the tri-state area and locally in our communities. So I want to share with you one event that's coming up. Right here we have the Belleville Advisory Council. They're having a happy holiday, a holiday carnival, I should say. Register your children at bellevilleRec.com. So that's bellevilleRec.com. And it's going to be December 13th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Belleville Recreation Center, 2109 West Chew Avenue. That's in Philadelphia, PA, 19138. So they're going to be having a happy holiday carnival. Register your children at bellevilleRec.com, and that's December 13th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Belleville Recreation Center, 2109 West Chew Avenue, and more information again at bellevilleRec.com. Get all that information. Holiday carnival that the Belleville Advisory Council is going to be having. So take time to take in that great event, because what we're going to be talking about on this show is the holiday season and how we can definitely have a happy holiday season there. So that's one event that we can get started with. And then another event coming up on December 18th, the Happy Holiday Comedy Showcase. A new vision, a new voice, Happy Holiday Comedy Showcase going to be taking place at Our House Culture Center, 6380 Germantown Avenue. That'll be a time to come out and get some holiday joy with local comedians who will be sharing laughter and good times there. But also, there will be toys and gifts that will be given away at this event. That's December 18th at Our House Culture Center, 6380 Germantown Avenue, starting at 7 p.m. There's going to be a comedy showcase. Then there'll be toys and gifts given away for children and families who may be in need at that time. Now, the other event that I mentioned at the Belleville Recreation Center, they're going to be giving away toys as well. So these are two events that we have coming up in our community. We have opportunity for those families and children who may be in need to come out and have some holiday joy and be able to receive some gifts and toys so that this holiday season can really be joyful and awesome for the families and children that may be in need. So we got one event, which is December 13th, the Belfield Recreation Center, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., 2109 West 2 Avenue. Come on out. They're having a holiday carnival. It's going to be gifts and toys to be given away to the children and families there. And then on December 18th, there's going to be a happy holiday comedy showcase. And that's going to be a time for you to come out, have holiday joy, and also some toys and gifts be given away to the children as well. And that'll be at Our House Culture Center, 6380 Germantown Avenue. So come on out to those two events and spread some holiday joy. And as we, again, close out this year, this is one of the things that I wanted to just share as we, again, wrap up this season of Community Voice, that holiday times is often a time we can wrap ourselves in warm embrace and celebrate with joy, the togetherness and hope that special time of year brings. And as we, gather with our family and friends, we want to just celebrate this time and just want to talk a little bit about the reasons to share holiday joy and keep happiness in our heart. Not just, of course, this season, but this season kind of embraces it for us in a great way. So just be mindful. Just want to talk about happy holiday season and keeping that holiday season in our heart at this time of year. And tips to stay safe, during this festive time. We're going to talk about how to step into our new year with expectations. So those are the things we're going to talk about in this segment of Community Voice: how to keep happiness in our heart throughout the holiday season, tips for safety, and how to bring our new year in with great expectations. So tune in and stay tuned, I should say, for some of the tips that we're going to be sharing throughout this episode right now. So when we talk about the holiday season, we're talking about decorative times, times of decorating our houses and decorating our trees and things of that nature. And we're staying connected to our community at the same time. And one of the reasons that it's great to have this holiday joy, that it brings power, brings us closer together. It brings us closer to our family and our friends and even neighbors and some people we may not even know. So think about a simple smile that you can put on someone's face by doing a kind gesture, a kind word. Think about some of the small things that you can do to brighten someone's day and create a moment of rippling happiness along the way. See, when we talk about holiday joy, putting holiday joy in our hearts and sharing that joy, it doesn't have to be a grand act. It doesn't have to be a large act. So oftentimes we think of some of the bigger acts and the things that people do in terms of bringing holiday joy. That's wonderful, right? But again, think about a simple smile, a simple handing out of a gift, a simple kind word. Those are the small acts that can really start the rippling effects of holiday joy. In our tri-state area, in our city, we have such a diverse, beautiful tapestry of individuals and people. And sharing that joy helps us appreciate all the differences and yet find all the things that we have in common at the same time. So as we think about holiday joy and think about all the great things, I'm reminded of some of the things that people have told me throughout my time of volunteering throughout the season. I remember one individual told me during their experience of volunteering, they told me their quote, it says, "For me, it's volunteering at a local shelter, seeing the smiles on people's faces makes the season so special." When that person shared with me that quote, they were really embraced with the joy of just serving and just giving back, volunteering at a local shelter, they were saying, and seeing the smiles on other people's faces. And that made it more meaningful. And it's not to say that, just because you serve, you do it just to feel good, but it's just this understanding of how giving back makes a difference and how we can just take the time from the busyness of our day to volunteer. It doesn't necessarily have to be at a shelter. It could be at a local recreation center. It could be with some faith-based institution or some organization that you support. Just go out there and make a difference. And as this person shares, that seeing the smiles on other people's faces, I mean, we've all realized how the last couple of months, particularly with the government shutdown, how that impacted a lot of people, how that changed people's situation. But when we find time to just give back, and particularly about this holiday season, to share that joy, just to see that smile on someone's face and let them know that everything's going to be all right. That's the reason that holiday season really helps out others in the challenging time. Because we never know someone's situation. Someone maybe throughout this time of year may have been challenged with a loss or maybe be separated from family. But if we can find a way to just share a joyful moment with them, Share time of happiness with them. A kind word again, a gentle act. Something that can just help them realize that they're not alone and that this time of year can find some joy for them. And another quote that I have, or rather a testimony that I have from someone I spoke to says, they just love baking cookies with kids and their families and friends in the neighborhood and spreading the warmth of the joy. And that's, something that's often lost in terms of the holiday season, at least for me when I think about it. When I was a little kid, there was always the understanding of you could connect with your neighbors and have fun with your neighbors and other kids in the neighborhood. A lot of that seems to be, not as prevalent as it is today. Now, I know some neighborhoods, they still have that. And I understand you got to maintain a level of safety, and it's a different society from when I was a little kid, for sure it is. But what I'm trying to share is that there needs to still be that warmth and joy of getting out and sharing with your neighbors and understanding that you can still bring joy into your neighborhood in spite of any of the, the challenges and situations that you may face. So, I just wanted to just share that and let us realize that those are moments that we can really, really be able to take advantage of some of the things that are happening in our community and be able to be embraced by what's happening in our society as a whole. So, want us to understand that these things that are happening in our community are happening because we want everyone to realize that this joy that we're spreading is joy that's helping in the holiday season. And beautiful stories that we can remember, small gestures of kindness, and even a phone call. We have just a phone call that can make a huge difference. That can really help someone really realize the joy that's happening in their community. And we talk about, the happiness, keeping happiness in the holiday season. One of the things we have to realize with all the hustle and bustle that's happening in our communities, all that's really, changing in our society, we need not be overwhelmed with the stress during this time of year. But what often happens, happiness comes with mindfulness of understanding how do we be grateful and have the same level of gratitude. And here are some happiness tips, if you don't mind, that I can share with you. A few happiness tips along the way. So, take time out of each of your day for yourself. Take time for yourself each day. A quiet moment, a walk, just getting out there. I know some of us don't like the cold weather, and I can get that. But take a moment for yourself. It doesn't have to be outside. If you want to take a walk, maybe around your home or around your apartment, or maybe in your office building, just a moment just to breathe and relax, because we need that time for ourselves. When we take that time for ourselves, that allows for us to truly have that moment when we can feel refreshed and excited. And then another tip: focus on what we have and not what we don't. So when we focus on what we have and not what we don't, that creates a level of gratitude that can truly change our world and change our outlook. So when we're thinking about how we can keep happiness in the holiday season, let's focus on what we have and not what we don't. That develops that level of gratitude. Take time for ourselves, focus on what we have and not what we don't, develop that level of gratitude. And then the next thing in keeping holiday happiness in the holiday season is connect with loved ones, even if it's virtually. Now, I know nowadays we have that capacity to do that. Of course, we can pick up the phone. That's a one way of connecting. But virtually, I think that that's really a great way that we can stay connected nowadays. We can get on a Zoom, Teams, or Google Meetup, whatever the platform is, and really reach out to those loved ones who maybe live in a different city, country, nation, right? We can still be connected with them. That's the beauty of it, because now we're connecting to that loved one who we may not be able to see in person, but we can still share the happiness and joy with them. That keeps happiness in our hearts, and let them know we're thinking about them. Let them know we want to see them, we want to actually be with them, but this is a way that we can do it virtually. It helps us keep us together with our family, loved ones, and friends. So be connected with your loved ones, and then engage in activities that bring joy. See, sometimes what we do is we don't engage in those activities that bring joy. We get so busy into the hustle and bustle of the shopping and the buying and the gift giving and all that. And that's great because that's part of it too. But let's engage some activities that bring joy. Music, if you're into music, do some crafts or some reading. watching your favorite holiday movie. Hey, send me an email to what is your favorite holiday movie, communityvoicephl@gmail.com. What's your favorite holiday movie? Let's engage in some of those activities like that. Reading, music, arts and crafts, and then your favorite holiday movie. Because remember, happiness is a gift that you give yourself too. And it makes sharing even more easier. When you give yourself that gift of happiness, that makes sharing it a lot more easier because now you're giving the joy that you have. And what makes it even more meaningful when you have the joy that you're sharing from within yourself? So remember, happiness is a gift that you give yourself. It makes it easier when you share at the same time. And now, when we talk about the holiday season, we have to remember there's levels of situations that are going on, so we have to maintain and stay safe throughout the holiday season. And as much as we want to celebrate, safety is still a key to enjoying the holiday season fully. And here are some safety tips that I wanted to share with you about how we can make sure we can be remembering how to keep ourselves and our community safe. Number one, if you're traveling, plan ahead and allow extra time for traveling or even weather delays. I know sometimes if folk are traveling out west, they may think, okay, it's easy for me to get out west because the weather is nice out there. But sometimes they have inclement weather, rainy seasons and things of that nature. Or you may be leaving from a place that maybe has challenging weather. So always travel, make a travel plan ahead, and be mindful of traffic and weather delays, anything like that may be happening. We also know that there's been certain challenges with TSA and their staffing and things of that nature. So give yourself leeway for that. Make sure that if you're traveling by airport or anything in that regard, give yourself proper time to get there so that you don't have any extra delays that you did not know about. So plan ahead accordingly. And then when gathering together, especially indoors, follow health guidelines. I know we're past the COVID time, so if we're gathering with family and friends, I know we're past the COVID time, but hand washing is still a great suggestion. And if you're in a space where you feel comfortable, if you want to wear a mask to help reduce any type of health concerns, there wear a mask if recommended or if needed in certain spaces where you're around, when you're out in public. These are just again safety tips. Hand washing, wear a mask if recommended in appropriate places, and be in spaces where the air ventilation and circulation is really good, because again, we're entering the cold and flu season as well as a holiday season, right? So these are just some safety tips. So when gathering indoors, follow the health safety guidelines, hand washing, wear a mask if appropriate and in the right setting, and be in a space where there's proper ventilation so that there's proper airflow, reducing any chance of cold and flu situations like that. And I know a lot of us like the fireplaces and candles and lights and decorations, but we have to be mindful of, the fire safety with those things. And I'm not trying to, be hypersensitive, but again, holiday season things that we want to do to be safe, because sometimes we're thinking about safety just in terms of traveling and being out in the public, but then there's safety concerning, fire hazards that often happen. I'm sure many of us can recall seeing on times past news reports of either a tree being caught on fire because of the decorations, or indoors maybe someone's candles or lightings going on. So let's be mindful of all the fire safeties that need to be in place so that we can truly have a safe and happy holiday season without any of these safety incidents happening. So another safety tip there, just be mindful of any fire safety hazards with candles, lights, and decorations. And for those of us who like to partake in our beverages throughout the holiday season, please do so. Take in your adult beverage with moderation, and be mindful of your driving, right? And I know some of us may be thinking, that's not me. But I just need to put that out there for safety and caution purposes, because as we're out there on the roadways, we want to make sure that as we take in the holiday joy and take in our adult beverages, we do so with moderation and be mindful if we are going to be driving, and that designated driver is still someone great to have, or even a ride share services if we know we're going to really be enjoying our holiday season in that capacity. So let's be mindful of that for those of us who are going to be enjoying our adult beverages. Let's be mindful of the moderation level of it, and if need be, get a designated driver and use ride sharing services if that is something you would feel appropriate that you need. And also, as I mentioned, this time of year can be challenging for some folk who maybe really just experiencing a loss throughout this time of year. The season is changed because certain loved ones is not there, and they're not really in their best space right about now. So keep eye on not just your mental health, but others' mental health as well. The holiday season can be tough for some, and if that's the case, let's be mindful of that. Let's not be overly sensitive. Let's develop that empathetic understanding, and let's just be there for them. But then again, like I say, be there for ourselves as well. Often, sometimes what we'll see is there's that comparison shopping thing. And what I mean by that is you'll see people buy these other grandiose big gifts that can sometimes make ourselves feel a certain way about the gifts we give to our family, friends, and loved ones. And that impacts our mental health. So keep an eye on your mental wellness and mental health as well as we being sensitive and mindful of others who may be going through some challenges throughout this time of year as well. So those are just some safety tips that I just wanted to share with you again, so that we can create a happy holiday season throughout this time of year and even beyond. So if you're traveling, plan accordingly. Make sure you have extra time put in for weather delays and any other type of traveling challenges that may be out there. And if you are gathering indoors, make sure you're following any safety health guidelines, some health guidelines in terms of hand washing, mask if appropriate, and space that's ventilated properly to prevent any cold and flu situations. And then be mindful of your decorations, your candles and lights, and make sure that all that's in place so that there's no fire hazards. And if you're drinking, do that in moderation, please do. And if you need a designated driver, that is still a person to have and or use ride share. And let's be mindful of our mental health and wellness of ourselves and others. So safety needs to help us to be mindful of that. And safety helps us protect our loved ones and keep us in the holiday season really being joyful and happy throughout this time of year. And as this time of year begins to wrap up, there are things that is going to be happening that's going to usher us into the new year. So starting a new year with great expectations is always what each one of us wants to do. And as you look at the start of the new year, it's a wonderful time to start setting your intentions and dreams in place. So as you begin 2026, begin thinking about 2026 with a lot level of positivity. And I know just to even mention that Community Voice, we will be having our Start Smart series. We'll be featuring individuals to help us get our year off to a smart start, whether that's in financing, whether that's in health, whether that's in fashion, whether that's in music. So we're going to have a great roster of guests coming on the show to start off 2026 with the Start Smart series. So that as we set those intentions and set those big dreams in place, we're going to have subject matter experts coming on the show, helping us talk about these things so that we can have start our year smart in 2026 and even beyond, so we can keep building on that. But as we begin our year, we want to set these great expectations, reflect on the past year. So when you look at 2026, reflect on 2025, celebrate your wins, right? Celebrate your wins from 2025, because what happens from that, that'll springboard you into having the continued momentum for all that you're going to do in 2026. So reflect on the past year, not things that set you back, even though those things did happen, but celebrate your wins and learn from the challenges that you had so that you can continue to build that same momentum into 2026. And also then set realistic and meaningful goals. And by realistic, I'm not trying to minimize it, but set the goals that we know that can be and will be accomplished. The meaningful goals, personal growth goals, health goals, relationship goals, community involvement, goals that really are meaningful for us, and set those goals so that we can have those as continued aspirations with the same momentum of celebrating our wins. We take those goals that we have into 2026, personal, health, relationship, community involvement, those meaningful goals help us to have a successful year in 2026 and beyond as well. And plan ways to stay connected to those who you love and to your support system. And when we do that, what we're doing is we're saying, hey, I want to continue to stay connected to my source of success. And in 2026, let's plan it. Plan ways that you can do that. See, if we don't plan ways that we can stay connected, then that's sometimes we drift apart from those connective sources of our success. So make plans, whether that's say, hey, every week I'm going to do X and make a call to such and such, or every month I'm going to do X and just do this and that. Make plans to stay connected to your source of success so that you can have that support system with you along the way. And then also one thing I would like to say for starting off the 2026 is embrace a mindset of kindness and resilience. Kindness to yourself and resilience in all that you do. Kindness to yourself and others, and then resilience to all that you do to help. So embrace that mindset. And when you do that, again, reflecting on 2025, embracing your wins, moving that into the momentum of 2026, so you can have those meaningful goals that you can set personally, health-wise, relationship, and in the community, and staying connected to your source of success, your support system, and then embracing that mindset of kindness to yourself and others and resilience towards your work. That will set the start of 2026 in a great way. Now, again, I'm going to remind you, we're having our Smart Start for 2026 coming into play. And that'll be the series where we have all the subject matter experts who are doing some great and fantastic things in the beginning of the year. So you'll have that as an opportunity to build on, to grow on, and to get the resources and information that you need to be successful. So we're talking about 2026. We're talking about setting those great expectations. And this is going to be a way that we can start our Start Smart series when we bring in the subject matter experts into the new year so that they can help us have all the great things that we are going to plan to have in place, and then celebrate those at the end of 2026 and take it into 2027. So, hey, look, again, to wrap up this episode, and again, I'm truly thankful for all your support throughout this year. Truly thankful for everything that you've done to help make Community Voice a success. Truly appreciative of all the emails that were sent in, all the times when we had events and people said how much they appreciated the show. And I'm uber thankful for all the great guests that we've had throughout the show as well. Community Voice would be less than what it is if not for the support of our listeners and viewers. And it would definitely be less than what it is without the great, amazing guests that came on to share great information and insights along the way. If you want to keep in contact with us, of course, our social media is where we're found on Instagram the most. Community Voice PHL is the social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Community Voice PHL Talk Show. Same as our Apple Podcast, Community Voice PHL Talk Show. And send us an email about this episode or any other episode or what's happening in your community. We really want to hear from you because we're looking forward to continuing bringing great and inspiring stories, information, and insights to our listeners and viewers who are always, always, always mindful to tune in to Community Voice. So as you begin to celebrate this holiday season, let's stay safe. Let's set those expectations. Let's do small acts of kindness. Let's share joy, bring happiness into the homes of others, and share that in your community with your family and friends. Stay safe along the way. Make sure that everything that you're doing brings holiday joy to your family, holiday joy to your community, holiday joy to your friends. Make sure that everything that we do has an opportunity to build and grow so that when we do that, we can start our year with great expectations, have a plan for how we want to go into our new year, and make sure that plan includes taking care of yourself into the new year, setting those meaningful goals, and not just setting them as resolutions, but setting them as goals of making sure that these are things that are sustainable and achievable, and that you can be able to achieve them in a way that makes you better throughout the whole year. So I'm excited and thankful and happy again. Appreciate everyone who's always tuning in. Community Voice has always been a passion for me to be able to share on the airways with our viewers and listeners all the great things that are happening in the tri-state area. And I really, of course, want to give a shout out to my lovely wife, who's always been a support, who's always been there for me in times of need, and my lovely children. Without them, I am nothing. And, they really give me the energy that I need to keep going. So to my lovely wife, Altavis, I love you. Thank you for all your support. To my children, Sunshine, Champion, Marion, they're always out there doing some great stuff, and I'm proud of them. Thank you all for tuning in to Community Voice. We'll be seeing you as we wrap up this year. We'll be seeing you in 2026 when we do the Start Smart series of shows. We're looking forward to sharing information about how you can stay involved and engaged. But remember, it's Community Voice PHL Talk Show. If it's happening in your community, we need to hear your voice. Peace. We are out.